Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to enter into one of the most exciting trainings that I think we have here at Assurance. The average person, the average salesperson has to follow up with someone about 7 times before you make a sale. You'll see that sometimes it doesn't take nearly that much. Maybe it takes 1 or 2 times, but mastering this skill will give you more deals and put more deals in your pipeline than almost anything else because 80% of salespeople don't follow up. And if they do follow up, they don't follow up effectively. They definitely don't follow up like this. So let's get into it. Okay, so this training will cover the follow-up philosophy. That's basically the state of mind you need to have, your mind game. It shows, and something else we're going to cover is follow-up tools. Here, we're going to talk about getting into the mind of the prospect, having fun while you're doing that, and killer scripts to use. So watch this video 2 or 3 times if you have to, but get it, make it something that's part of your daily routine. Now, the first part of your follow-up philosophy is you need to read every day, uh, 30 minutes a day if possible, but definitely as much as you possibly can. You want to read it or see it, then do it. So when you're reading sales resources like Jeffrey Gitomer or some of the other books that we recommend, you're going to see ideas that you think make sense. Don't just file it away somewhere mentally, but actually put that into your routine. Add it to your calendar if it's a task that you need to do, or if it's a state of mind, try to employ it the very next day. That's extremely important. I spent years not doing that and paid for it. If you do it, you're going to be much better off. So remember, read it or see it, then do it. Second part, as far as the philosophy you want to have, is make your mind a funnel where everything that you get, you're converting information into ideas for the prospect. Here's an example. Let's say that I work the Woodlands market and I hear about Exxon moving into the Woodlands. Here's a fact. 1,000 companies are following Exxon. Well, how can I convert that information into ideas for prospects? What I can do is take that information, Exxon's moving to the Woodlands, and I can say, well, since Exxon's moving, that's going to increase demand. It's going to drive up rental rates. And I'll take that article or that piece of information, state it, then I'll talk about ideas on how to save money with all these new people coming into the Woodlands area, which would be maybe looking at a different class building. Instead of class A, look at class B. Maybe look at getting out of the Woodlands and avoiding all of the increased traffic. Those are the type of ideas that will get you into the room, and that's going to separate you from other salespeople. Next point is don't quit it until you get it. And what I'm talking about is your goals. I'm talking about your goals. So when you set a sales quota for number of calls you need to make or number of meetings you need to have a day, don't stop until you reach that goal. Don't make an excuse for yourself. Just keep driving your feet until you get the goals that you set. And lastly, reward yourself for your efforts, even on small things. If you made the calls you were supposed to make, if you worked at it for 2, 3 hours straight, maybe even four, go ahead and reward yourself. Take yourself to Starbucks or something. When you get the deal done, get something nice for yourself or your wife or your husband, etc., significant other. Make make yourself happy once you reach a goal. It's going to make you push harder to reach other goals. Now, here's some follow-up tools. When we talk about following up, we just talked about the philosophy you want to have. Now, here are tools that you want to employ. Always have really nice thank you cards that are blank that you can write handwritten notes on. Something as simple as, thanks for having the meeting with me. Really enjoyed the conversation. That speaks volumes in the age of the internet where everything is digital. So write it down, make it personal, send it the next day. So when you've already visited the client, the next day they should get a piece of mail. If not the next day, at the very least 2 days, no more than 2 days. Next thing you want to do is collect video testimonials. When you have someone that says great things about you, pull out your phone and grab it. And that's so important. If you get video testimonials, if you can get 5 to 7, that's going to be worth its weight in gold. When other people are talking about you in a positive way, people will believe it. They'll believe 2 words from a complete stranger about you that's sincere versus 20,000 words from you. So Get video testimonials anytime you can. Next point is give tickets away. It's a great follow-up tool. Get tickets to the opera or plays, basketball games, something that's easily accessible by you, but maybe not so much for the tenants or clients out there. They need to see some kind of value. Don't make it trash. If you don't want to go to it and they don't want to go to it, don't try to push something on them that they may not want. The next point is looking at social media tools. Okay, so if you're not wanting to invest a lot of money in tickets, be sure to use cool little games or something on social media, on LinkedIn or Facebook, that allows you to keep in contact and show that you really appreciate knowing the client. That's extremely important. And as far as scripts, that's one of the best tools you can have. We're going to talk a little bit about that here, but you want to have them always ready. You want to make them your own and use them as often as possible. Now, let's talk about getting inside the prospect mind. So you got your tools, you understand the philosophy that you need to have. Now, you need to know the prospect's hot buttons. And in the scenario that I'm talking about here is, let's say that you have made a cold call, or maybe you're engaging someone on LinkedIn, maybe you're canvassing. It works in all these situations. Every single person you talk to, from a tenant representation perspective, is going to have the same concerns and the same hot buttons. So you may as well get familiar with them. Here's some of the top ones. They want to know whether or not the building is for sale. They also want to know whether or not the building is set to be demolished or improved. That's going to impact their business significantly. People want to know if there's any road construction that can affect traffic. That's a huge one. If there's road construction in front of their building, it can be years of congestion that they have to deal with. That's a big deal. People want to know about sudden changes to the economy, their business, or their competitors' business. If their competitors are moving in or out of the market, they want to know about it. That's an easy gimme right there. I have competitors on the next one, so I'm skipping that one. And last but not least, the market data. This is where everybody plays, and that's probably the most tired form of data that you can give. Everybody knows what the rental rates are, and you can send market reports all day. And at the end of the day, people say, yeah, okay, I got another report from another broker, but you don't set yourself apart that way. People know the general market rates. And when you talk about the deal history, people, they care about that a little bit too. But what matters the most, what we talked about before, is converting this information into actionable ideas. Use your creativity to take some of these points here and make them something that's actionable and important to the client, and look at it from their perspective. That's one of the biggest advantages you can have over every other broker in the marketplace, is if you can change your perspective right now at the very beginning and start speaking and looking through the eyes of a tenant. Here's some other prospect hot buttons. Use situations, not facts and figures. We already beat up on the market reports and how tired that is. But now we want to talk in terms of situational circumstances. I don't even know if that's a word. We want to talk in terms of situations, not facts and figures. Here's an example. Let's say that I have a staffing company, and I can tell them, if they're in Greenway Plaza, I can say, well, the rental rate here on the low side is anywhere from 16 bucks to up to $38 a foot. Okay, that's boring. That has nothing to do with them. What I can talk about though is, just a few months ago, we placed a staffing company that was about 4,000 square feet, which is the same size that you are. They went from a Class A building at 28 bucks a foot to a Class B building at 20 bucks a foot, and we saved them $50,000 in a 5-year lease. That is a situation. That's a scenario. That was tangible, real numbers, and it showed a happy ending and somebody they can relate to. Always, always use situations. And if you don't have situations because you're brand new, talk to your managing broker. Talk to people that have plenty of scenarios. I've been in the business for 8 years now, and there's not much that I haven't seen in the way of situations that brokers add value. So if you need situations, just talk to me anytime. I'll give them to you. Sound relaxed. One of the things, I put this in hot buttons because you can talk about all this great stuff, but if you don't sound relaxed and you sound salesy, man, it really makes it harder for people to buy what you're saying. You want to be sincere. I don't want you to be disingenuous at all. Be totally sincere. Know this stuff so that when you talk about it, it comes out like you know what you're talking about, because you do. So we want to pre-identify objections and script answers. Here comes the script again here. So just like the hot buttons are already known, so are the objections. Here's some common objections. Hey, I have a relationship with the landlord. I already have a broker. I have a long time before my lease expires. Maybe getting you guys involved will increase my rates. We will cover that. You guys should have answers for all of those already. Okay, so in the important column, measure twice, cut once. Be prepared, know your stuff, and you'll enjoy talking to prospects. Now, here's the part about having fun. We want you to be creative in your approach. And what that basically means is have fun when you're on the phones talking to people. We don't want you to sound salesy. We don't want you to sound super uber quote unquote professional. We want you to be yourselves the same way that you were when we met in a networking event or during a call or connection on LinkedIn. You want to be that way. Pretend like this person is a potential friend. If you sound salesy, it makes it almost impossible to connect with you. So totally relax, pretend like you had a drink or something, and conduct yourself in a way that shows that you're just very nonchalant, but sincere and concerned about this particular person. Be direct and be short. So we like to be to the point, especially on emails and phone conversations too. Our objective is always to get the meeting. So we're not selling on the phone. We're not going to talk about a million benefits on the phone. It makes no point to do that. State what you want. I want to help you save money. I want to help you save time and money on your lease. I want to talk about other staffing companies or other companies that we've helped and show you how our processes can help you. Just be direct. You have nothing to lose. And the more direct you are, the more positive the response is. The quickest way to get shut down is trying to beat around the bush and trying to hide your motives. People hate that. So, last but not least, as far as having fun, always have a great question ready. This is on the phone. This is just as important, even more important during meetings. Have one killer question ready. As soon as you start, throw it out there. It gets them thinking. It gives you time to kind of get your bearings, and it allows things to be, it sets the tone in a very positive way. Now, here are a few killer scripts that you can look at. I thought of a few things that may help you decide on next steps. Let me explain what this means. These are things that you can use when you're following up. Most of these are by email that I would say. Some of these you can say verbally too. They work just as well either way. So if I was sending an email to someone and they weren't sure about using me, I would send something like this. I thought of a few things that might help you decide. And here I have an ellipse, but what it should say is next steps. And then I have a few links to relevant articles, not too many, just one or two that affect their lives in a big way, that are impactful. And I throw it out there. And then I'm going to call them back, see what they thought about it. Then I may follow up with this message. I sent you blank the email the other day, and I wanted to go over a couple of things because they weren't necessarily self-explanatory. When do you have time next week? So I may send this message at first and then follow up with this one. Here's another one that you can send to get their attention. There's been an increase in rent charge at your building. I have the deal history. I'd like to talk to you about it. Here's the best one. Joe, I sent you some information about a revolutionary new process and how you can leverage it to get the best deal possible on your space. But the information was not totally self-explanatory. If you have 10 minutes to show you how this process is working in other deals like yours, it can save you over $50,000 on your next renewal. That sounds really cool. That's a very strong script. You can make it shorter, you can make it your own. But the point is, it's a great example of how scripts work and why we want to always employ them. So guys, thanks for watching. Watch this again. Become a follow-up master and you will make it rain. I'm telling you, if you're good at this, you're great at sales. If you're bad at this, you'll be average. And we don't want you to be average. Thanks for watching.